Hello, I'm Wanderer001 and this is a look at the application as it pertains to the ecobee Smart Thermostat, or ecobee Smart Thermostat number 5. I don't know how they're going to change the naming convention in the future, so this is what we're calling it right now. Currently we are looking at my two ecobees. I have one on my main floor and a sensor that is attached to that, and one upstairs for me and a sensor that's attached to that. I also have an ecobee smart switch review over there if you're interested in that. So what we're looking at when we first log into the application, you see all of your ecobee equipment. You have a plus sign up here which will allow you to add a new piece of equipment. This is how you add sensors and switches and other thermostats if you like. On the thermostats themselves, I have them in the expanded mode. However, you can collapse them so that you don't see all of your sensors. And again, if you have a lot of sensors set up, you might not want to do that. So the quick UI dashboard here, your hold temperature, or the temperature that it should be, at, you can see that little flame is lit up. That means that my furnace is actually turned on and doing something. You have your Eco Plus mode, so I have certain settings turned on for Eco mode. We'll talk about that a little later. And then over here is the current temperature based on sensors and thermostats, depending on how you set it up. Here you have different numbers. The first one is the thermostat itself, so it is labeled main floor and is reading 65. I have a sensor that sits in the middle of my living room and dining room, and this is the one that I use to tell the thermostat this is the temperature I want it at. So it is actually at 64 right now, which is why this number here is 64 and not 65, because this is the temperature that it's reading from and setting to. Now, you will notice that there's a white dot in different places on the main floor and the upstairs. The white dot indicates what is actually being used to heat or set the temperature. Like I was saying before, this is reading 64 right now. The thermostat itself is 65, it is heating to 66. So my furnace will not turn itself off until this number here, that's highlighted in white, reaches 65. So if you ever wonder why this white dot moves, you have it set for specific things. In this case, I have it set for a sensor. But that's enough about the main dashboard. Let's click into one of our thermostats and see what we get. Over here on the side, you've got temperature adjustment. Now, these are going to be specific to my heating setup because that's all I have is a heater. I don't have an air conditioner. This is just a one-stage heater. The heat's on, it's off, and it's setting to temperature. So over here, you've got a dial. You can drag this up and down to set the temperature. Again, I'm going to put that back at what it should be at. And then you can see that green line going across the top means that I have made a change. You'll notice that that change would be held until 150. I'm just going to cancel that because that's actually a setting that you can do. There's also that follow me mode that allows you to have the sensors figure out what room you're in. And there we go, it canceled. It takes a little bit of time from the app to the thermostat itself. Again, here at the top, we have that flame. If the furnace is not actively on, that would be white. Here you have your humidity. So on my main floor, it is 30% humidity. And then the big number there is what it currently, but that number there is what it's currently at. This is what you're raising to. That green in the middle there is the eco mode. So it's letting you know that it's in eco mode based on some settings that you did. I shifted the temperature back up because, well, I realized by canceling this, it turned off the follow me mode or the smart home, meaning I'm home. And would have lowered it back down to what I actually normally keep it at when I'm not here, which would be bad for filming because it would get a little chilly. Over here on the side, we have the Alexa toggle. Now, on this particular thermostat, I do not keep it on because, well, it's close to my actual other Echo device. But if you clicked on this, you would be able to set up your Amazon device. Or we're going to pop back here for a moment because I did set up the one upstairs, and you can see there's your eco mode showing. And if you click on that, it lets you know, hey, eco mode adjusts certain settings. You can stop the eco mode for the day, or you can just close this. I'm going to close that. But coming back to Alexa, we click on that. It will allow you to adjust the volume, change your control your Spotify with Alexa, paired Bluetooth device, and then it'll let you know, hey, what can I ask my Alexa? And if you wanted to, you could unlink your Echo device. Coming back up here, we're just going to work our way to the left because it's just easier for me. Left, We're going to click on the sprocket. Here are some quick changes. You can say home for now or away from now. So if you're on your way out the door, you could just say away for now, and it will put your system into away mode. Home for now, if I wanted to stop fiddling with that setting on the side, or if I didn't want to use the smart follow me feature, I could just say home for now, and it will turn the furnace up to my preset home settings. Here you've got fan, automatic or on. In my case, my system does not actually have a fan, but I just kept that on auto. And equipment running, you can see I have one equipment running, so it's a one-stage heating. So one, it's on, it's heating. That's what it does. That's all under here. And again, depending on your setup, this screen could look very different, but I'm showing you an example as it is for me. Here we have weather. So you do, as part of the setup process, set up your location. So, well, it will tell you the weather. So here you go, it just gives you a outlook, so overall temperature, kind of gives you pollen count, humidity, highs, lows, give you afternoon, evening, morning, and then, you know, kind of a couple day forecast there. Now it is a little laggy, it maybe updates once every half hour, so if you need the absolute most up to date, this might not be the way to do it. But I can see I'm getting some snow on Monday, so that'll be interesting. After weather, we come over here to the main area, the hamburger button here, so these three lines. This is your system. This is how you're going to be setting this up. After you really set up your ecobee, you don't really play in here all that much, but it's good to know it's here. So, starting at the top, this was a feature that was pushed out recently to all of the newest ecobee thermostats, and will slowly be rolling out to older thermostats. Clicking on this, it's the eco mode. So right now I do have it enabled. You can click on that to enable, disable for today, disable for 1 week, or disable indefinitely. We're just going to cancel out of that. Coming up here at the top, you have this sliding chart. Now, I will say on the application itself, I do not really like how they describe the basic savings versus moderate savings versus enhanced savings versus maximum saving. Yes, you could see a percentage of up to 1 through 20%, and we're just going to slide that back down because I really don't want that to. And then minimum savings, so we're just gonna put that back there. In this case, 1 to 8%. I don't like how they describe it here. On the actual thermostat itself, you find out what this is. This actually will adjust your temperature up to X% degrees based on what you set this at. Now, I have found that really for the heating, it doesn't seem to be doing anything with this. I think it's definitely more of a air conditioner setup that would do this more, but I just kept it at basic for here on the first floor, and then upstairs I think I actually even did less because I wasn't sure what that would do. Scrolling down here, you have other settings. So here you have smart home and away on. So this was already features that you had, but it expanded on those features. So clicking on that, smart home or away, what it does is it will use the sensors to determine if you're home or not. If you're not home, it will go into away mode automatically. If it detects that you are home, which I started walking around because I forgot that, you know, hey, I'm going to be filming today. It went, oh, you're home. Let me turn on the furnace and, you know, warm the place up to your desired, you know, home settings. So that's this feature here. Schedule assistant on. What this will do is actually send you schedule recommendations. So unlike a Nest learning thermostat that just makes changes automatically because, well, it's AI and figures it knows better than you, you are always in control with an ecobee. So ecobee will make recommendations. In fact, here's a screenshot of an email that I got, and you get one for each thermostat you have. So I got one for my main floor and one for my upstairs with suggestions to the schedule that I had already set up, saying these are changes that you may wish to make based on activity that we seen through, you know, the sensors and the thermostat. And I have the option of saying, yes, add them to my schedule, or don't. In this case, I currently have not. I may do that in the future, but right now I kind of like my schedule. Next, you have this feels like, clicking on that. This is going to change the way the temperature is actually set at based on humidity. So humidity can make things feel differently. If it's really humid, you know, it will feel much hotter. If it's not as humid, it can feel colder but still be warmer. If you're talking about like a Florida heat versus an Arizona heat, both you'll probably want air conditioning, but one will feel less oppressive. So again, for me, this probably won't come into play all that much because it's definitely more of an air conditioner feeling setting. Last one in this area is community energy. Now, this is the one feature that I turned off because one, I do not want my utility company being able to change my thermostat at all. My local utility would give me like an $80 kickback if I let them do it. I thought about it because mainly, again, it looks like they would do it during the summertime, but I do not like the idea of a utility being able to come in and play with that. So I kept this off. If you turn this feature on, a utility company during peak hours may be able to adjust your temperature to help prevent blackouts. Again, not a feature that I like. It's not that I don't want to help people, I just don't want other people being able to access and control my stuff. So that is all of our Eco Plus options. I know that was a lot. So we're coming down here, what used to be the first, which is System. System, it will show you. In my case, I have HVAC heat. Clicking on that, heat's on or off. I can turn it on or off from here. Fan, I don't have a fan, but if you did, you can come in here and adjust run times. So clicking that, you have a option. Again, don't have it, so I'm not going to play with it. Sensors, clicking on that will show you up here. So it's saying Smart Home and Away is enabled, so I got it. What that's doing is it will use the sensors. I have the Follow Me set up, so what that will do is it's already enabled, but what that does is based on the rooms that I'm occupying, it will make sure to set the temperature in those areas based on my location, as opposed to a room that I may not be occupying. Here you have sensors. So I have two sensors for my main floor. The thermostat itself, which acts as a sensor, and then a sensor that I've labeled living room, which as I explained sits between my living room and dining room for a more accurate reading because my thermostat is rather close to my actual heating element. So when you click on a sensor, it can participate in specific modes. In my case, I have home, away, and sleep. The main thermostat is not participating in any of these because I have all of them set for the sensor. So here you can see participating in 3 comfort settings, home, away, and sleep. If you see here, I cannot uncheck this right now because this sensor must be used for one of these participating feelings because I don't have them set up with my main thermostat. But coming back here, you can change the name of your sensor if you wanted to. Here you got a laundry list of things, or you can give it a custom name. And then about. That's the pairing name it had, which was the 4-digit code. And you know, there's a little extra information. Here's how you can add another sensor. We're gonna go back. Schedule. So you can set up a schedule for every day of the week. So here, my Friday schedule, you can see from the previous day, sleep, home, away, home, sleep. So you can set this up as many different ways as you want. You can also copy the schedule to another day. So if I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the same schedule, I can just copy to another day. So I could do that and I could say click, 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 and it would copy that schedule to those days. You can add more to this schedule by clicking the plus sign up here. And you would select a start time and then the day of the week and then what you're doing. Is it home? Is it away? Is it sleep? Now you'll notice home, I have it set for 66, away it's 63, and sleeping is 64. What that means is that is a comfort setting, which is actually next on our list here. So coming in here, comfort, these are the prerequisites. So this is when I'm home, I want it to be 66. When I'm not home, I want it to be 63. And when I'm sleeping, I want it to be 64. You can come up here and add, so comfort setting name, blah, 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 blah. Direct heat, you can say fan. Someone is usually away or home for this particular action. You can select sensors. You can say what's participating. And again, check, check. And then you can add a custom comfort level. If you just want to edit one of the pre-existing comfort levels, you would just click on it. And then where it says direct heat, you would click there and adjust your temperature and hit save. Again, not going to do that, but those are your comfort settings. Reminders and alerts. Clicking on this, well, I don't use this all that much yet, just because of the way my system is. I'll be maintaining it probably once a year. I'll have it, cleaned out and everything. But if you had air filters for, forced air heat, you might need to change those a little more often. So this is where you can set up reminders for yourself. In my case, clicking on reminders, I don't have any reminders. Preferences, I have 2 reminders active, which is HVAC maintenance and air filter. Again, don't have an air filter, but I was playing with it just to see. You also have the option for UV lamp. You can set yourself up a reminder for the UV lamp, so I'll click on that. So you can base it on months of usage or runtime. And you could say remind me every 12 months and then your last service date. Now you can do this for every one of those, and I'm going to turn that back off. And again, every time you do that, you can see the green line going across the top there. And we're just waiting for that to actually be done. There we go. And we're going to go back. And those were our reminder preferences, and then you've got your reminder alerts. So you can have a low temperature reminder, which I have set to 50 degrees. I have a high temperature reminder of 92 degrees. I do not have a humidity reminder for low or high, just because I'm still trying to figure out how the humidity is in this place, and I don't need a reminder kind of bothering me all the time. But if you turn that on, you can set it for a %, and we're just going to tap that off really quick and go off. So again, this is what I was talking about. There's a little lag between actually sending it and then it receiving it. So there it kind of flashed on and off a couple times. Going back, those are our alerts. And now we're coming down here to Thermostat Preferences. Clicking on that, you have the device name. Clicking on that will allow you to change the device's name. You have a heat range and a cool range. So clicking on that, you can select the lowest and highest. Now, you can drag these to kind of customize your range. I do tend to keep a tighter range because I already manually keep things kind of low. But again, that's for heating and cooling. Hold duration. Now this is what you saw me kind of fighting with at the beginning. Clicking on this. If you make a change to the thermostat, whether it's follow me mode and it figures out your home, or you tell it home for now, or you manually go and slide the thermostat temperature up or down, that overrides the pre-programmed schedule. Coming in here will allow you to hold that new temperature for a 2-hour duration, a 4-hour duration, until the next scheduled activity, until the next time I change it, or ask me every time, which will flash something up on the screen. In my case, I have found that a 2-hour hold is enough to kind of get it if my wife and I come home briefly during the day when we're not supposed to be here, rather than having the heat just turn on and kick on all day while we're not here. Having this just 2 hours, yeah, it's a little longer than we probably would be home, but it's not all day, and then it will return back to the away mode. So we're just going to cancel out of that. So that's an important feature that's kind of buried in the menu system here. And then about is going to show you your firmware, your serial number, and all that. I do wish that they would manually let you update the firmware, but they don't do that. You have to have the firmware pushed to you. So when we had all of these Eco Plus options sent out, I couldn't do anything because, well, I hadn't gotten the firmware yet, even though they said, you know, the ecobee 5 is supposed to have them readily available. I did not get that, and I had to wait for them to push it out to me, which took, 3 or 4 days, but I wanted to play with the new features now. It's a small gripe for the application itself. It's nothing terrible. So that's everything that we covered on the home menu. Down here at the bottom, you have vacation mode. Clicking on that, what that will do is that'll set up vacation mode. So you can either click here or up here, and we're just going to click set up vacation mode. What this will allow you to do is set up a departure date and time, a return date and time, and then my home, which will allow you to select devices to have for this. So in this case, you would be able to set my 2 thermostats and my kitchen light for vacation mode. So what happens in this case for the thermostats, what they will do is they will lower themselves to a preset vacation temperature for the duration of you being away. What happens then is before your return time, your thermostats will turn themselves on and warm your house back up to the desired home temperature. Over here on accounts, this is one that I did not play with the smart switch because it wasn't as useful, but for thermostats, you can select geofencing, which will allow you to set up a radius around your home, which will, and here you could adjust, which of course will show my location, which I won't be doing, but you can pinch and zoom on a map to set up how far the geofence would be. After geofencing radius, you can come down here to participating devices. So if I click on this, you can see that main floor is participating in this, or upstairs. You notice that you can only select one, so I can change it from either or, but you can only have one participating thermostat. So I would recommend, if you're going to geofence, make sure that that's your main living space. Next we have when entering geofence and when leaving geofence. What happens? So in this case, it goes into home mode, but you can select away, sleep, resume schedule, and do nothing. So that's for both of them. Again, geofencing not as useful for me. I like using the scheduled setup, but if you want to make things easier on yourself, you could set that up, but it also would be another thing pinging your GPS location on your phone. Manage homes. If you had several different locations, this is where you could do it. You can donate your data. I like ecobee, but not enough to donate my data. About will show you a lot of personal information, so nothing in there. You can connect directly to your Spotify via the thermostats and or ecobee smart switch. And then from here you can log out of your account. And that is a look at the ecobee application, primarily for thermostats, but with those extra options down there. So I have been Wonder001. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.